This is One Fat Boy, and here are my NBA game predictions for March 31st. Tonight there is 5 games, and I will be going over the spreads and over-unders for each of them. For Philadelphia at Detroit, we're going to Philadelphia minus 10.5. So Philadelphia should win this game. They are playing Detroit, who is at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, while 76ers are towards the top. So shouldn't be a problem for Philadelphia to win. Who's going to slow down Embiid and Harden? It's like no one really on Detroit, like especially Embiid. He's mismatch problem across the league, and then especially for Detroit, as Detroit is not a massive team, so Embiid should have his way. Wouldn't be surprised if he has like a 30-12 game. Like the only reason why he might not get that is because they just have him sit the entire fourth quarter. But should be a pretty dominant game from him. We lean towards an over in this game of 223, as I think Philadelphia will probably mean that 120-point range, as their offense should be ran pretty smooth like Detroit. I think will have a hard time slowing down the Philadelphia offense. Then Detroit will probably be in the low 100s, so adding those two up should go over 223. For Milwaukee at Brooklyn, probably the game of the night. We lean towards Brooklyn minus 1.5, as if Irving can beat the Bucks, I believe it was at Milwaukee. This is like a month ago at this point. Pretty much single-handedly beat the Bucks. I don't see why Brooklyn with Durant and Irving. I think they'll continue to do that and beat them at Brooklyn with both their star players. I will expect this game to be pretty close. It might be one of those games where Milwaukee's just ahead the whole time, then Brooklyn at the end takes the lead. Or how Milwaukee has been winning their games as of late is they're just kind of like close the whole game, then just take it at the end against like the higher ranked teams. But overall, spread-wise, I'd lean towards Brooklyn, but I think overall I probably would not bet on this game for who to win, as I can see both these teams winning. It just really depends whose star players really get hot, and then if they're both playing great, it's like whose defense at the end can just like slow them down just a little bit to where they get the edge. I will be leaning towards an under for this game, as I think the defense should be a little bit more intense in this game, as it's like this will still be high scoring, but it's like 239 is a little bit of a stretch, I think. Like there's probably be like over 230 or like 235, but I just lean towards an under of 239, as I think fourth quarter the defense will probably be amped, especially if this is a close game. And if this does turn into a blowout, it's like then it for sure will be an under. For Cleveland at Atlanta, we lean towards Atlanta minus 5, mostly due to the fact that Evan Mobley will be out for Cleveland. So 2 of their 7-footers will be out for Cleveland. So seeing that, that gives a big advantage to Atlanta. Also, Atlanta's playing at home, so another reason why to bet towards Atlanta to win this game. If Atlanta loses, I mean, I'd be very surprised by this, like knowing that Evan Mobley is out. So Atlanta should be able to cover a minus 5 spread. Like the ball is in their court to win this. I will be leaning towards an under 221, as I think Cleveland will have a hard time scoring the ball. Like Atlanta shouldn't have too much of a problem, but I think Cleveland. That's why I'm not taking an over. I think Cleveland's offense is going to struggle. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they are somewhere in the 90s for their total points. So hence why I'm leaning towards an under for this game. For the Clippers at the Bulls, I'll be leaning towards the Clippers plus 3.5. This is due to the fact that Paul George is back, and the Clippers have that they don't give up attitude, as we saw against the Jazz, down by like 20 plus points, come back and win that game. So the Clippers are always going to be in it. So that's why I'm leaning towards the Clippers being within 3.5 points. I honestly might take them to win this, just because they are the Clippers and they kind of win games that they shouldn't, or just make it interesting at the end and possibly sneak away with a win. And then the Bulls have been playing better, but I think with what the Clippers bring, I think they match up decent against the Bulls. So I would not be surprised if the Clippers win this. I will be leaning towards an over, mostly because Paul George is back. So a little more consistent scoring on the Clippers. And the Bulls, I think, with their tools like Levine, DeRozan, and Vucevic. So lots of scoring options for them, so that's why I'm leaning towards an over for this game of 222.5. And for the Lakers at the Jazz, I'm going to go with the Jazz minus 12. So with LeBum and Anthony Street Clothes Davis out, I don't know how Utah will lose this. If they do, you can just vote on Utah being out in the first round, because I would literally have no faith in the Jazz winning a game in the playoffs. But they should win. They should be able to win by 12. I honestly think they should be able to win by more than 12. I would not be surprised if I see a 22-point win by them. So I'm really putting all my eggs in the basket for Jazz to win. We'll be leaning towards an under 225.5, as Westbrook, I think, can't lead the offense. He's not able to backpack, and especially who's left on the Lakers, it's going to be very hard for the Lakers to score points. So expect them to see them in like the low 100s or 90s. So that's why I'm leaning towards an under, as Jazz defense is all right. So, and then in order, like, expect the Lakers to be in that low amount, like that means the Jazz have to be scoring at least 120 or 130 just to cover like the 225.5. So that's why I'm taking an under, mostly due to the fact that the Lakers offense should be like straight garbage. Thank you for watching. As always, have fun watching basketball, bet responsibly, and good luck winning your bets. And once again, thank you for watching.